Tonight, I will accompany your night of rest by reviewing a book. There are many lessons to be learned from this book. If you can listen to the end and practice it, I guarantee you will become a better person every day. Are you ready? Relax and listen. This book is very popular. In fact, it has been translated into more than 50 languages and has also sold more than 5 million copies worldwide. No wonder this Atomic Habits book was awarded as a bestseller book, even the #1 mega bestseller from the New York Times, from the Wall Street Journal, Amazon, and even on Audible. Now, what I like about this book is that it can make us better in at least 3 ways. First, we are much more optimistic about the small changes or atomic things that we do that happen in our daily lives. Second, we become more realistic. We are not delusional in mapping out targets or what we want to achieve in the long term that we have broken down into the short term, not grandiose with the hope that everything is based on our own measure and ability. Because the small changes we make on a consistent daily basis will have a much greater impact and shape who we are in the future, or in other words, our identity or character in the future. And thirdly, why I really like this book is because after reading this book, we are much more able to acknowledge and be grateful for our struggles. Why more grateful? Because we realize that we did something, even that is a small, tiny thing, but at least we are moving to be more positive every day in some ways. From this 300-page book, there are at least 3 main ideas that I highlight. The first big idea is in accordance with the title of the book, Atomic Habits, that big changes always start from small changes that we do in a disciplined manner every day. If you want to see someone's character, look at the small habits that they do consistently. Well, this focus on small changes inspired James Clear in his book to explain the big phenomena or life stories of successful people out there. Even 1% progress per day is actually progress because we focus on improving that 1% every day. Then, in 1 year, we have 365 days. Automatically, in a year, there will be an increase of 37 times. So, there is actually no reason for all of us not to grow. It's not whether we can or can't, but whether we want to or not. The second big idea of the book, which is divided into 20 chapters, is actually just repeating 4 main keywords from the small habits that we do. The first one must be obvious, must be clear. What is the measure? How is it done? And how to measure it? The second is make it attractive, and it has to be interesting. The third is make it easy. And the fourth, make it satisfying or make it fun. Those 4 are actually within our control. In other words, getting into a good new habit is within our control. The first one is make it obvious. Make the target of our new habit clear and measurable. For example, instead of saying or targeting that we want to live healthier, we should set a target that we want to walk at least 6,000 to 10,000 steps a day. It is clear what the size is. It is clear how long the duration is, so that when we have to evaluate it, it is also visible whether the target is achieved or not. Or instead of saying we don't want to stay up late every night, it's better to use the target that every 10 o'clock we have let go of all our activities and get ready to rest. Well, the biggest challenge for most of us is to be consistent in implementing this new habit. Some of the reasons are forgetting. Some of the environmental conditions are not supportive or do not have a support system. There are at least two things we can do to anticipate this. First, write down our target as clearly as possible and post it in places that we often see. Or for those of us who are more active with gadgets, for example, we can use some application help to track our habits, such as the Stride or Habitica application. And this is the application most widely used by millennials and Gen Z children, because this application is like a game on a smartphone, where we will get a prize if we succeed in being consistent and improving the quality of the habit. So, it feels like we're playing a normal game. If you don't like this kind of game model, Yao can also use an app called Snap Habit, available both on Android and iOS. So, the point is to make our habits clear and measurable. And we always remember that habit by recording it or writing it down. If we need a reminder, we can use the help of people around us, or we can use apps like the ones I've recommended. The first 12 to 21 days will probably feel difficult, and it's true that it will feel strange because something has changed. Until finally, these small things become new habits. Even our own subconscious already wants it without having to be reminded by writing, by people around us, even through the application. The second is make it attractive. Make the target or small habit interesting or enjoyable. We can either enjoy the process or think about the opposite. Let me give you an example. Let's say we want to have a new habit of walking 10,000 steps a day. Just imagining it is already hard. 10,000 steps in one day, especially if we work from home. How do we get to that target? But if we combine or unite our new habits with habits that we really like. For example, we can run in the morning while listening to music or listening to podcasts, or we run in the morning while having quality time with our loved ones, with our closest friends. Then it will feel light. Oh, suddenly, it's only 10,000 steps. Or if you want to chase a target tomorrow, or carry out what you have planned, then do it with the people closest to you. This can be a good start before you finally get used to doing it alone. Maybe you realize this when we eat. It's not whether the food is good or not that matters, but who we eat with that will make us enjoy it or not. Or when we go for a walk, it's not about the destination and the ride, but the ride with whom we go with that will determine whether we enjoy the journey or not. Enjoying the process, including changing for the better, is important, even as important as a goal with its own purpose and vision. For that reason, making sure that we enjoy and savor our new habits is important and something we have to work on. Or vice versa, or the opposite. Imagine something that is not interesting if we don't do it. For example, we will not be in the mood all day if we don't walk 10,000 steps in the morning. So, instead of our daily work, activities, tasks, or targets not being achieved because the mind becomes unfocused and the body becomes weak, it is better to take 30 to 45 minutes in the morning to exercise. Third, make it easy. When we want to create a new routine or habit, there must be barriers. There must be obstacles and resistance that make us lazy to move. How do you do it? Find out what makes us lazy to move, because of course, everyone's reasons must be different. And the following are common reasons why we feel lazy. The first is thinking that our work or targets are too big or too high. This makes us feel difficult and hard to start. And after that, usually, our minds become lazy and a sense of procrastination appears. Remember, time is running. It will not wait until we are ready. 7 days passed, and we did nothing. The second reason why we're lazy is because we don't have the skills or ability to get it done. If imagining it is already difficult, how much more is doing it? The third is the number of distractions that happen around us, starting from small things like incoming gadget notifications, the number of tabs we open when we work or study. For those who want to start living a healthy lifestyle, of course, there are so many temptations to eat and drink unhealthy, making us unfocused and finally lazy to start it right now. As a result, we keep procrastinating again. The fourth reason is an unsupportive environment because we are who we hang out with. The fifth one is that we are tired or exhausted because we do too many activities or are too busy. The sixth reason is that we are indecisive or we are not sure of our initial goals. Well, if it's like this, it's the same as we lack motivation. We really need to find our strong why again. For example, if you really like sweet drinks or sugar, maybe tea or coffee, and it can also be other colored sweet drinks. So, there is no day without sugar. And for most people, it is very difficult to change this habit. It leaves us in a state of no day without sugar, and for most people, it's very difficult to change this habit. For example, we can stay away from sugar for 2 days, but when we go home, we drink sugar again. If this happens, we can't stay away from sugar completely. At least replace it with healthier sugar until later we have a support system. Have another environment that is more aware of health. We can start changing our habits by replacing sugar with stevia and honey. The second way we can do this is by researching the diseases that will arise when we have too much sugar. For example, diabetes. You can watch videos about diabetes or even see people around you who have diabetes. This way it makes us think, I don't want to be like them. It will be very troublesome. Troublesome for myself, troublesome for my loved ones around me later. Imagining these negative things can make us confident. And fourth, make it satisfying. Make our new habit something that is rewarding. There is a reward when we succeed in doing it, so we are motivated. In the words of James Clear, what is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. What we can feel the pleasure of, the reward will be repeated, and the opposite. What we feel the pain, the difficulty, and the punishment we tend to avoid and leave behind. Now, this concept is also widely used by novice businessmen who give a lot of bonuses, promos, or buy one get one free at the beginning. Or when we go to class, preparing to learn something new, we certainly start from the easiest, according to our abilities. When we think the task is easy, we believe we'll get a good score, or we'll get a discount or bonus deal. We tend to keep repeating ourselves, going back to the app, going back to shopping there, going back to the class, or going back to playing on the app over and over again. And that's how it works. For example, is to read a book 10 pages per day, 5 pages in the morning, 5 pages at night before going to bed, until we finish one book with 300 pages in 1 month. After 1 month, and this book is finished, we can reward ourselves like going to the movies or going to eat ice cream. And giving the reward does not need to be something big, but we are happy with it. When we have completed something well and consistently, give a reward to ourselves, because with that we feel satisfying. We feel satisfied with what we have done, especially consistently. It's a small thing, but if we keep repeating it, it will become part of our happiness. So, we are also happy repeating this small habit. The third and last big idea that can be obtained from this Atomic Habit book is not to skip twice the good habits that we are building, because the key to a new habit is repetition. When the repetition process has been skipped more than twice, let alone has not reached our subconscious system, then we will very easily return to the previous habit. For example, don't skip twice to not exercise. Don't skip twice to not do work right away. In 1 week, we only leave 1 day for me time, not 2 days and so on. Because most of us often focus too much on goal, even though the right and proper process will actually keep and lead us to the goal itself, or even better results. Well, that's our Atomic Habit book review. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Comment below what other books we want to talk about and see you in the next book video.